What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with a top 5 for you guys today. And today, guys, due to the Thanksgiving event, we're going to go over 5 tames you can use to kill these super turkeys. Now, a lot of these, I mean, not really, but some of these are based on whether or not you have them available to you and whatnot. But nonetheless, let's jump straight into the video and kick it off at number 5. So, at number 5, we have the Mantis. Now, the Mantis is able to wield swords, which technically count as player weaponry. So this allows you to actually damage the turkey based on the actual weaponry itself. Now, I would only recommend using the Mantis if A, you've got a decent sword or pike blueprint, and B, you've got a decent saddle, because the turkeys hit crazy hard. We'll show you real quick how hard they hit. Let's just jump off this bad boy and go like that. So you can see there we've deactivated creative mode, so we're going to take damage from all sources. And let's just jump back on the Mantis. You can see we've got a turkey over here. We've got 221 melee damage on our sword. Our Mantis has no levels in it, and it's not imprinted as well. So do keep that in mind when you're checking out the damage. But the Mantis itself does 293 damage to the actual super turkey itself, which is pretty damaging. Now, the only downside is that you will be taking full amounts of damage from the super turkey, unless, of course, you've got a really good saddle, in which case you'll be taking reduced damage. But you can utilize this trap that I have built here to actually trap the turkeys, and you can still damage them inside this trap with the Mantis, which is actually really good and sort of broken. The only downside is that you obviously have to try and get these Mantises to said trap, and this Tropheonathus is literally ruining this for me. Yeah, so the only downside to this is that you have to try and get the super turkeys to the trap. But if you do manage to get them to the trap like this, then you, by all means, definitely go ahead and kill them like this, because it does give you the means to kill them because they're trapped. They actually can't damage you. You see we've got creative mode deactivated, so we're fully capable of taking damage. They're just not able to reach us. However, if we were to just pump up some levels onto our Mantis as well, he's also going to be hitting for a little bit harder. Like I said, you can also get better swords. We've only got a Mastercraft sword here with 221 damage. You get an Ascendant one with like 400 damage. You're going to be laughed until the cows come home because of how much damage you're going to be doing to the super turkeys. Just one thing to be aware of is obviously your health. Mantises aren't the strongest or healthiest creatures on the arc, and make sure you've got a decent saddle for them as well, because that'll enable you to take a lot less damage from the super turkeys. And just like that, there you can see we've killed our first one, and we're about to kill our second turkey and get some more wishbones. But yeah, this is kind of a portable trap as well that you can really take with you anywhere. It's very cheap to make. You don't actually have to use the stone stairs either. You can use wooden ramps as well. And all you need is a stone foundation and 4 stone railings, and you're good to go. So guys, the Mantis is in at number 5. We're going to move on to number 4 now. Alrighty guys, so coming in at number 4, we have the Velonasaur. Now, the Velonasaur is actually really good. His turret mode does normal damage to a super turkey, obviously based off his melee damage and scaling. And like I said, you can actually use this trap. Now, we're just going to summon in a super turkey because we accidentally killed them all. Now, you've got a couple of options here. You can kite it in with your Velonasaur, walk up the stairs and just turn around and shoot it, and it should run straight towards you on the trap. You can see there. And you can pretty much walk around the trap before the super turkey gets to you, unless, of course, you're a sloth like myself and you can't do it. But the Velonasaur does have the capability to jump, so if you do miss the trap the first time around, simply circle back around, and you can jump over the actual trap itself, while the super turkey will still fall in. It would help if our Mantis just was not in the way and the super turkey decided to stay engaged on us. We're going to do this again. We'll show you guys. So we're going to come up. We're going to attack the super turkey. We're going to attack the super turkey, and it's going to aggro on us. And now all we need to do is pretty much line it up with that trap that we built here. This will require you to build the trap, because otherwise you're going to be in a bit of a pickle, because you won't be able to keep it still. I mean, obviously you can keep it at a distance and shoot it down like that, but this is probably the easiest way to go about doing it. Simply walk your Velonasaur back up top, and you'll see the reticle will pretty much hover over the super turkey. You might need to take a couple steps back or anything like that, but you can see here we're going to have no problems shooting down at the super turkey as long as we can hit it and our damage actually carries over to it. You will obviously get a couple of shots in from the super turkey, but you can't actually shoot it through here. I mean, you can, but you have to be like real up close and personal, and it does have the opportunity to hit you. And you will obviously miss a couple of shots and stuff like that. But if you aim for its head as well, it will take increased damage. You can see there, we're hitting for 212 per tick. Look at that. Look at that damage coming into the super turkey. Now, reason why Velonasaur is not higher is because obviously you're still going to take damage while killing this Super Turkey, and not every single one of your shots is going to hit. These guys like to move around a lot, and they're really annoying to sometimes just try and lock onto. But you can still use the Velonasaur to go about killing it. And yeah, I would heavily recommend using the Velonasaur as well. It's up to you though. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's all dependent on whether or not you have access to these sort of tames. Some of you might not have access to a Mantis, some of you might have access to a Velonasaur, that sort of stuff. You might not have access to a decent one. For stat-wise, we'll show you real quick. We've got 4k stamina, 453 melee damage, 3 and a bit of health. So make sure that you've got a little bit of health if you're not building a trap. You can walk back and shoot them like that, but I wouldn't recommend it because they can get underneath you and they will be able to kill you. So I would not recommend trying to kite it backwards like that because yeah, you'll definitely lose that fight. But it's all about trying to line up the right shot, and you can see here we're hitting it when it's doing its attack, and just like that, we've killed the Super Turkey with the Velonasaur. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. The Velonasaur here, make sure you got a good saddle for him if you are going to face tank. I wouldn't recommend it, like I said. It's very easy to build this trap, so I would heavily recommend building the trap. But let's move on to number 3. Alrighty guys, so coming in at number 3, we have the Wyverns. Now, in specific, the Lightning Wyvern and the Fire Wyvern. These guys, in my experience, are the best Wyverns to use to take on the Super Turkeys. Now, do be warned, the Super Turkeys will be able to get inside of your hitbox. You can see here, we're able to hit him here. But as long as you keep walking backwards and spraying your breath attack, you should be able to avoid damage from the Super Turkey majority of the time, unless it catches you like it just did there. And then once that happens, you're going to be in a bit of a pickle because you kind of can't hit it once it gets underneath you. So I would once again recommend using this trap, but the good thing about the Wyverns is that they can always fly away, reposition themselves, line up some more attacks, and just let the stupid Super Turkey have it. And you can see there, we're doing a lot more damage than the previous dinos that were on this list. Like, look at that damage coming in. Easily 1,000 damage just there alone. But yeah, that's pretty much what you want to do with the Wyverns. You want to make sure that you've got enough stamina so that you can actually fly away, land, turn back around, fire your breath attack off, and if need be, get ready to fly off again. But during that time, you should be able to get quite a bit of your stamina back. Wait for the Super Turkey to get a little bit closer so you can line up your shot. And just like that, let it rip. And constantly keep walking backwards if you are using this method. Otherwise, the Super Turkey will get up to you faster and it will be able to damage you faster. But yeah, this is probably one of the best ways to go about killing the Super Turkeys because pretty much everyone has Wyverns. And yeah, the Lightning Wyvern took it out a lot faster than the Velonasaur and the Mantis did. You can also kite him into the trap like I used earlier. Literally, this trap is perfect for all the Super Turkeys if you don't want the bastards getting away or trying to hit you, because they get stuck in this trap and you're pretty much good to go. Let's show you guys the trap, and then we'll switch over to the Fire Wyvern. If we want to get over here, there we go. Thank you very much. So if we come over here, we're going to get a Super Turkey in. Boom, like that. We've got to be careful because we don't have creative mode on, so it can literally one-shot us. Punch it. Oh, God. And jump over the trap. You don't even need to jump. Just simply walk over it, and the turkey will go straight into it. Once you've done that, grab your Wyvern. We're going to test out the Fire Wyvern now. You saw the damage on the Lightning Wyvern, and it is phenomenal. Fire Wyvern also has really good damage because his breath attack does, I think, 75 per tick. Maybe it's 65 per tick, but it also 67, sorry, with our one at the moment. But it does 75 burn damage over time. So you can constantly keep refreshing this burn damage. Make sure you've got stamina. But yeah, these traps are going to be a life send if you ever find Super Turkeys out in the wild, because it's going to make your life a lot easier. I would recommend the Lightning Wyvern over the Fire Wyvern just because you can line up the breath attacks and they deal a lot more damage than the Fire Wyverns. But I mean, the option's there for you guys if you want is the Fire Wyverns. But yeah, really easy way to kill these guys is with the Wyverns and this little box trap that we've made. Alrighty guys, so coming in at number 2, we have the Magma Saw. Now, the Magma Saw for some reason actually bypasses the turkey's physical damage barrier. So against tamed creatures, the turkey takes reduced damage, but for some reason, the Magma Saw actually does full damage to it with its standard attacks, which is pretty gnarly if you ask me. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe they just didn't code it in properly because they copied and pasted the event from last year. Who's to say? But the Magma Saw's attacks do hit the turkey for the full amount of melee damage. Once again, you can use this trap. It's entirely up to you, but you don't actually have to because the Magma Saws are very tanky dinos. You can actually just go straight up to the turkey and attack them. There's the turkey over there. And even if they do manage to get under you with the Magma Saw, you can still actually hit them with your attack. So you can see here, he's underneath us. We are tanking a bit of damage, but we can still hit the Super Turkey. And we're definitely going to come out of this fight on top. against the Super Turkey because we hit harder, we have more health than the Super Turkey, I believe. So, you know, you can do it like this. It is a method. One thing I would recommend with the Magma Saw, if you do go about doing it like this though, is to turn off resource harvesting so that you don't actually accidentally harvest a bunch of resources that you don't need. But yeah, Magma Saw's got a ton of health. He's got a ton of melee damage. You can imprint on them. Once again though, it's dependent on whether or not you have access to them. So it all comes down to whether or not you can use a Magma Saw. But if you don't have access to a Magma Saw, hands down, I would use the Wyverns for sure. If you don't have access to number 1 either, definitely use a Wyvern as well, because they are probably one of the best tames to use against the Super Turkeys. Obviously, hence why we're making this video. Alrighty guys, and finally coming in at number 1, you definitely would have seen this guy coming, the Giga. Hands down, the best dino you can use for these Super Turkeys. This guy hits like an absolute truck. He's got a heap of health, like literally he will be unkillable to the Super Turkeys. Unless, of course, you decide to kill a bunch of, like 20 of them at once, and then you might be in a bit of a pickle. But also, because of the Turkey's abilities to cause wild dinos to swarm on you, the Giga's going to easily be able to two-shot whatever it is that swarms on you. You can also utilize this trap once again, because the Giga can literally just walk straight over it. And the Turkey is going to have to follow you in, so you can see here we're just going to walk straight over it. Is there a Turkey in there? There is a Turkey in there. This other one that we just spawned in is coming in as well. And you can see straight in the trap for him. And the cool thing about this is because the Giga is so big, you can actually just straight up hit them while they're in the trap. And you're completely protected from taking damage from them. Unless, of course, you've got a wild one running around at your feet. But nonetheless, the Giga hits the hardest out of all these dinos on the list. But if you don't have access to a Giga, definitely go for a Lightning Wyvern because they are, well, once again, one of the best dinos you can use. But the damage on the Giga is just, it's just so good to pass up. You can't. You definitely have to use the Giga for the Super Turkeys if you have access to one. If not, like I said, use any of the other dinos on this list, whatever you feel more comfortable with. The Velonasaur is definitely a safe option. So are the Wyverns. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, I would heavily recommend using the Giga if you have one available to you because they are the most damaging. Why can I not hear you guys? It's not letting me hit them for now for some reason. We were popping off. Maybe it's because we were not in... There we go. Optimal positioning. There we go. Okay, now we're hitting them. That's actually kind of funky. They were protected for a second there. Well, even if you don't have access to this trap, you can easily face tank with the Gigas because they're just so massive. They've got so much health. But if you do have access to the trap, definitely use it because you can see here, we're just standing over the top of them. They're not even able to hit us. And we're... Oh, never mind. I stand corrected. They are able to hit us. A lot less than they would if they were running around wildly, though. And we are just chunking through them. Absolutely chunking through these stupid birds. So, definitely would recommend using the Giga over everything else. And obviously, you'll have imprinted ones and stuff like that if you've bred them up. Or you're playing on your single-player world. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. Feel free to use the trap as much as you want because it's worth it. It'll save you a lot of hassle, it'll save you a lot of damage as well, and definitely try and use a Giga. But guys, that's going to wrap the video for today. Let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments, and other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next one.